Welcome everyone. I'd like to introduce you to the next art workshop, which is coming up in a few weeks. My name is Sue, for those of you that haven't met me before. I'd like to introduce you to the second part of our module, which is about the four ethers as a new form language. And in our last workshop, we looked, for example, at the signature of warmth with its soft, spherical, arousing nature. And we also looked at the linear form of light with its extension into space and its reflective planar surfaces. And this particular workshop, we're going to be asking, what is the signature of movement? Now, to do that, I want to show you some examples where we get the best example of how we can see the signature of movement at work. And this is, of course, in nature, in the watery realm. So when we look at the way water moves across the landscape in meandering curves, or we see the way that the oceans, the waves roll across the oceans and then break upon distant shores. When we see, for example, the surface of lakes with its sensitive membrane being able to pick up the interpenetrating ripples on the surface. And when we see, for example, the droplet in its basic spherical nature, which under the force of gravity will pull it into the linear movement. Now, it's this particular quality or signature that seems to be the quintessential nature of movement and form combined. Now, when we look at these forms and we see how they start to manifest in nature, we can see the vortex, for example. We can see the way this particular vortex can be seen in the signature of plants. We can see it also in the formations of flowers. But when we see it in its profile, we can see that the vortex has actually a profile, and we can see that it's this interweaving movement that out of which the forms of nature arise. And in works of art, we can see how by introducing movement into form, we get a sense of life and warmth and consciousness. And so this is what you might be able to expect from our next workshop. We will do a combination of drawing and clay modeling, and I hope to see you there. Thank you.